Hey guys, Dylan here, owner of HardcoreRaids, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of an introduction of sorts to the server. Now, HardcoreRaids is honestly its own server by itself. There's never been a server out there that I have seen that is even close to it. I mean, there's features that may be similar, but the actual basis and certain things surrounding the server is very, very different than anything I've seen. I would go into that more, but quite frankly, I just want to explain everything I need to so you guys can get going on your journey and have a great time. First thing I want to say is after you spawn, you're going to have your starter kit, and you're going to be itching to run into the battlefield and start fighting. I'm just going to tell you you might want to refrain from that. Upon death, there's a 25% chance of you dropping your head. If you drop your head, somebody can then craft a tracker and track you down to your base. There will come time for PvP. There's a lot of PvP on the server. I just want you to potentially think about waiting until you're a little more geared. Something else I want to say to you guys is if you are playing with friends, make sure to go ahead and create a party. Now there's very little warping on the server, which I'm about to go over, but with the party you will be able to have anti-friendly fire so you and your friends will not hit each other if in a big fight. Additionally, you'll be able to have a party chat so you guys can see your chat stick out from the general public chat. So make sure to do that with /party create space party name. And then you can also do /party invite and then the player name to invite them to the party, and then to enter the chat room for the party, it's /party space chat. And that's really all the information you have to know for that. Now more onto the warping. On HardcoreRaids there's no /spawn, there's only /set_home and /home. The reason for this is because we want to make it a very more vanilla inspired and hardcore server in which you have to travel back to spawn, which will maybe put you into some unwanted PvP encounters. So to counteract this new feature, because we didn't want players to have to walk thousands and thousands of blocks back to spawn, and we didn't want 100 bases surrounding the spawn, we have added stargates. Stargates are underneath spawn, as I'm showing you right now, and they're a place where you can use. First you walk up to one of the dialer. Now you see there may be 8 of them in spawn. The reason for that is only so that there's always one open, as one is only usable by one person at a time. Anyways, when you walk up to the Stargate, you will right-click the dialer in front of it. You will then click on the map in the bottom right-hand corner, and you will then click on a block that is linked with a destination around the map. For these destinations, in each diagonal direction from spawn there are 3, and in each direction straight out from spawn there are 1. The point of this Stargate system is so that people only have to run back to the Stargates in order to go back to spawn, instead of having to run the whole way back to spawn. So this will really split up the population evenly throughout the map, and it will make you not be so crowded, but you will still have an easy run back to spawn. Now that we've done the overworld, I want to do the nether in the end. The end setup is that if you enter it, you can only get out of it by dying or going /home, so it is not a place for new players. So make sure if you go to the end, you have a /set_home set somewhere, and you're not a new player. The end will be extremely heavy in PvP due to people's lack of ender pearls for fighting, as well as for tracking, which we will get into very soon. Now the nether. The nether is a resource-only based world. If you go to the nether, please realize that there are no stargates, so if you want to build a base there, you're going to have to walk very far distances within a very small map. The map of the nether is only 5,000 by 5,000 blocks, so 2,500 blocks in each direction, and since there's going to be so many people needing to gather resources, there is not a very good chance of staying safe in the nether. Now that we got that covered, guys, I want to go over a few more features of the server. First, we're going to go over a few things that you may have seen in the spawn, and that is the shop. The shop is based around villager trading with emeralds. Emeralds is the currency in the server. If you type /money, it will not tell you how much money you have like /bal and other plugins do, but instead it will tell you how many emeralds you have in your inventory and in your vault. Now to create a vault, just place a double chest or a single chest with a sign on it with a square bracket, vault, and an ending square bracket. You can place this anywhere in the map. Now you should put it somewhere where you can have easy access to it, however you don't want it to be easily found. Any emeralds you get you should store in your vault. Now once your vault is created, you will be able to deposit money in there from any distance and anywhere in the world. You will also be able to send money to other players with /money space pay. So there's 2 great commands. Now, however, you are not able to withdraw the emeralds you put into it. So if you do plan on doing any villager trading with the villagers at spawn, you will need to go to your vault and take the emeralds out manually. The point of this is so that your money is raidable. Even when you're raided on other servers, you still have money, so you still didn't lose a lot. But on this server, if they raid you and they get your emeralds, you will nearly have to start over. This will make raiding a lot more beneficial, as they will receive a lot more from your base. Or, in return, you will receive a lot more from their bases. So with that being said, remember to build your base underground or somewhere way up in the sky, because there is no protection. If somebody finds your base, they can break anything and take anything. There is nothing to stop them from doing it. Now we're going to move on to something that I know a lot of you guys have been interested in since I mentioned it, and that is tracking. On hardcore raids, because raiding is a big part of the server, but finding unclaimed raids may be challenging, we've added a tracking system. Upon killing somebody, there's a 25% chance that their head will be dropped. If you are the victim and you die, you can then look in chat and see if your head dropped, because there's 2 death messages upon a head drop. When you die, it will say that you were slain. If your head dropped, it will additionally say you were beheaded. So make sure if it says you were beheaded, somebody has your head, and be careful. If you behead somebody else and you gain their head, you can then work towards getting 8 Eyes of Ender. Now, that just brings me back to my point I said earlier about people using the end to get Ender Pearls. They need to get a lot of Ender Pearls in order to track people. So now that you have your 8 Eyes of Ender and your head, you place them all on a crafting table with the Eyes of Ender surrounding the head. You now have a player tracker. From this point, you have to make sure you have enough coal to power the player tracker. The first time you track within a 24-hour period, the tracker will cost 48 coal. From then on, it will continuously cost 32 more coal per use, and that will continue even if it's with a different tracker until it resets every 24 hours. The reason for this is because we don't want one really powerful player to track and raid 5 people in a day for nearly no costs. That's why we have added coal. Now coal of course can be bought at the shop at spawn for a fairly cheap price, but we really just wanted to give a purpose to a material that we feel like does not do enough in the game at this point. Now that you have your tracker, if you are within 1,250 blocks of the player, you will be able to track them only if they are online. Only the highest tier donators are able to track offline players. If they're within 1,250 blocks, you will right click. The coal will be then taken from your inventory and a snowball with particles will then go flying in the direction the player is at. You will then follow that snowball and keep going in that direction. Eventually you will get to the player. If you are not close enough, no snowball will be thrown, no coal will be taken, it will just prompt you that the player is not within range. Use your snowballs carefully, don't spam them, as you only have 3 uses per player tracker. If you play it smart, you will be able to work your way and find your place to their base. One quick tip I have to players is make sure the best way to track somebody is to go through all the Stargates and on each Stargate platform right click and see if it tracks them. If it does, the chances are that that is the closest Stargate to their base. Now that we have the general server set up, I want to go into something a little bit more basic. And that is just the PvP setup. PvP is going to be a huge part of the server, as most raids will involve the player being online, so there will be a PvP confrontation. Additionally, there's going to be things around spawn that will encourage people to PvP, which we will get into next. But I just wanted to go over how the PvP system here works. There is fast soup. That means when you right click a soup in the middle of PvP, you will instantly gain 3.5 hearts. It is very hotkeying based, where you want to hit them and then quickly hotkey and heal and keep on going through the fight, and they're normally very quick fights. Now, there's only 2 items that are truly disabled in the PvP system, and that is instant health potions of any sort are all disabled. Upon trying to drink one or throw a splash, it will just be removed and it will tell you that those potions are disabled, so do not brew them, it will be a waste of time. Additionally, strength 2 are disabled. Again, you can brew them, but if you use them, they will disappear before you get the effect. There are strength 1, however. Now, about golden apples. Regular golden apples have a minute and 30-second cooldown, so people just can't munch and keep trying to survive through the absorption hearts. The enchanted golden apple has a 5-minute cooldown. The point of that is that it is really not something we want to make the server based around, but we don't want to disable it at all, completely. So in general, in a fight, if somebody pops a golden apple, it's probably the only one they're going to be able to pull off for the rest of the fight. Now, there's only 2 more things I want to mention to you guys, and the first of all is care package drops. Every 4 hours and 15 minutes, there will be care packages dropped around spawn. These care packages, each one containing up to 5 or 6 items, will have extreme loot, anywhere from ender pearls to golden apples to spawners. Now, with this loot being so good, there has to be 25 players online at the time for this to happen. So if it's midnight and you're the only person online, or only a few of you guys are online, you're not going to be able to go and sweep up an entire care package drop. This is another thing we've implemented to encourage PvP, as we think a lot of people are going to be afraid to PvP to lose their heads. This care package is going to be worth the risk because of how great the loot will really be. The last and final thing I wanted to mention, guys, is when you are working on earning money, build a farm. Farm is the most profitable way to make money on hardcore raids. The reason why we did this, guys, was because with bases being unclaimed, having a really big farm makes your base more vulnerable and more likely to be found. It's another trade-off. More likely to be found, however, it will make a hell of a lot more money than spawners. Spawners, of course, are enabled. Anybody with a Silk Touch pickaxe can, in fact, go and get a spawner. Spawners are more used for getting XP to enchant God Gear. This is 1.8, so enchanting is much, much more simple on this server. Anyway, guys, that is the basic premise of Hardcore Raids. I really hope you enjoy your time on the server, guys. Make sure to let me know if you do. Make sure, if you watch this whole video, to go and tell your friends to watch it and tell other players to watch it on the server so that they can all be as successful as you. Well, almost as successful. Have a great day, guys.